Hello everybody and welcome back to Minecraft Survival. Today I'm going to be building a garden in the city, and frankly that's about it because I could not think of anything better to do. But in all seriousness, it's also to break up a monotony that I sense coming. If I just built the city with just building after building after building, I get the feeling it might get a little boring. So I decided to build this garden to break it up a little bit so that there'd be something more instead of just a ton of buildings. So without further ado, let's get into what I've been doing today. And of course, the first thing I do is completely unrelated to the main subject of the video, because I'm really good at doing that, apparently. So yeah, let's get 10 of every type of dye, because I don't know, I felt like it or something. This will come in handy later when I build a big sheep farm, but currently it's just a box of every dye. So yeah, let's do that real quick. Luckily, most of these dyes are pretty easy to get. Pretty much just grab flour, turn into dye, put in box. Some of them you have to mix together, but frankly, it's not very many of them, so that was pretty much hardly a problem. Unfortunately, some of them were significantly more difficult. Specifically, every single one that had to do with cactus, because I have been putting off doing anything with cactus, so I've kinda not gotten any, and I need a lot more than 18. Because there's green dye, turquoise dye, lime dye, and all of those need green dye, so, you know, I need a lot more cactus. And so eventually I'm probably going to make a ridiculously large cactus farm that will serve absolutely no purpose because cactus farms are absolutely just for vanity, but it will probably happen at some point. But for now, I got this stupid grid of cactuses, so fun stuff. And as fun as I'm sure it would be to watch me do nothing but watch cactus grow for like 20 minutes, we're not gonna do that for, you know, obvious reasons. And so instead we're gonna go for a walk. And by walk, I mean boat ride, because I cannot explore without getting in a boat. I'm heading out this direction because of one of the other more troublesome dyes to get, which is brown dye, which, as far as I'm aware, can only be made through cocoa beans, so since I totally forgot to get any of those last time I was in the jungle, I have to go all the way back to get new ones. And so, once I got to the jungle, I crafted some wooden axes. I know, I'm so rich. And I used them to chop down some trees because, frankly, I figured that was the fastest way to collect cocoa beans instead of, you know, collecting them like a human would. And with my extremely advanced cocoa bean collecting tactics, I managed to get enough pretty easily. Unfortunately, that was not the end of my problems, because this man with some very, very deep pockets decided to start throwing an entire family's worth of cutlery at me, and like, that's kind of a weird strategy, but you do you, I guess. Unfortunately, this cutlery was very big and sharp, and it hurt a lot when he hit me with it. And as any good adventurer would, this challenge was met with immediate execution, because I did not have time for that, and also I kinda hoped he'd give me a fork. He didn't. He was stingy, so you know. Kinda rude, but alright. When I got home, I grabbed some jungle logs to plant down those 10 cocoa beans, however, because I kinda realized that I might want more than 10 in the future, so planting them would be like the smart thing to do, or something like that. But anyway, after not too terribly long, I managed to get all of my dyes collected and put into the shulker box. But back to the original purpose for this episode, I'm now going to start working on the garden. But, of course, the first thing I need to do is collect a lot of materials. The first thing I gather a large amount of is stone bricks. These are going to be used as long as some deep slate tiles to create a sort of retaining wall around the garden, because it's not really going to be fully level with the ground because where it's built is sort of on a slope, so we're gonna need some retaining walls to make sure that it is even. And of course, the next thing I got was those main deep slate tile blocks, because, well, they're pretty easy to get once you just have all this deep slate, so yeah, those are also pretty easy to grab. Before going out and collecting the next thing, I decided to start leveling out the area. As you can see, I am once again using Light Magicka to do this, because it just makes it easier. But I'm using it to see where I need to build up and tear down certain parts of this landscape. And after a lot of building and mining, we now have this very unappealing looking chunk of land. So yeah, let's try to fix that. And of course, the first step of that is to try and level everything out with moss, because moss. There will be some dirt and some other blocks on the ground here, but for now I'm just going to be putting down the moss because I have the moss. But after that, I decided now was as good a time as any to actually begin building. Which means it's time to start building the retaining walls. After making the retaining walls, I decided that it'd probably be a good time to go get more stuff, because while I technically had more blocks that I could put down right about now, I decided it would be better to go out and grab more of the materials before I did that. While most of them were easy, some of them had me walking all the way back to the mesa again, because, you know, I need stuff from over here. Like terracotta and sea pickles. This trip was for a couple of these blue coral fans, because if I got everything at once, that would be like intelligent or something. I also probably forgot, so you know, it is what it is. But of course, on the way home from this specific adventure, I did a bit of an oopsie, where, you know, I was walking, and then there was this dude with a fork, and he stabbed me with it. And it, you know, didn't feel so good. Fortunately, with the power of memory, I was able to remember where I died and recollect all of the stuff without any losses, besides for, of course, experience, which is slightly tragic, but it'll be fine. And after collecting a few more items, including a lot of flowers and dyes, I got to go all the way back to the coral reef because, yeah, I didn't grab any of those sea pickles I needed, so I kinda needed to do that. One of the most interesting blocks that I needed a large amount of was the rooted dirt, because since I didn't really remember where any actual azalea trees are, or if I actually have found any yet, I had to do it the manual way, where you just grow the azaleas into trees, which makes a grand total of 1 rooted dirt, so this one took a while, but, you know, that's alright. Oh yeah, and that, you know, that terracotta? Yeah, I had to go all the way back to the mesa again, because neither of the times I came down here to collect stuff did I remember to get the terracotta. So, yeah. That's sorted now, though. I also got to make a fun concrete tower for all the pink concrete I needed, Which, yeah, I'm not about to complain about because pink concrete tower, kinda groovin'. But with all the materials collected, I was now able to head off to finish the garden. I lied. I did not get all of the materials. I forgot to get pink wool. So, time to go get pink wool. Fortunately, this isn't exactly a difficult process. All you really need to do is capture a few sheep, turn them pink, and then, shear them repeatedly. Which is what I did. Fortunately, this did not take too long, and I now have a pen full of pink sheep, so I guess I should not complain. But after a few more finishing touches, the gardens will be done. This is just a slight little area where, I forgot to unpause replay mod, a classic me thing to do, but it wasn't too terribly bad. I just missed making some flowery, like, water lilies in the pond, but other than that, I got pretty much everything else, so let's just do that real quick. But as we finish this up, I do think that will be the end of this video since it is the end of this project. I will be sure to leave you with a outro cinematic, but you're gonna have to wait for that for just a second. I just wanted to say that I'm kinda sorry for missing last week's upload, just ended up being busy and slightly lazy, but I will be still trying to get out videos as quickly as possible, but since I have a job, sometimes it's not going to be 100% of the time. But I will be trying to upload as soon as possible and whenever possible, but for now, that's gonna be all for today, so I hope to see you again sometime soon, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. Bye bye.